I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GVN, we're opening hearts and minds with an amazing book. It is called Grammy, Who is Gus? It is a gentle and empowering story written by a terrific author. Her name is Natalie Goodfellow. It is inspired by a real conversation between a young boy and his grandmother. And this touching book helps children explore their connection to a higher power in a way that's simple, spiritual, and full of love. If you're searching for children's books that nurture emotional and spiritual growth, this is a must read. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Natalie, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you, Logan. Very happy to be here.
Great to have you on the show. Let's talk about that heartfelt conversation that led to this story. Tell us about that.
Oh boy. Well, it's just something that just was a regular scene that would happen in our home. Pretty much, regular Saturdays, JJ would come for a visit, and we would just have a regular routine. And then at the end of it, just before bedtime, we just read a book and then just talk about how good our day was, and then just I started to thank Gus for, like the good things that happened in our day. And then of course that just, encouraged JJ to ask questions about, well, Grammy, who's Gus? And that's where it all started, really.
Well, it's a fascinating beginning or genesis of this story. Who or what is Gus, and how do you explain this concept to young children?
So I actually have had a pretty interesting journey with my own spirituality, and I come from a traditional religious background. My mother was Catholic, my father was Protestant, and so I had the opportunity to experience religion from both viewpoints. And as I grew and had many different life experiences, I kind of felt disconnected from religion, but yet I felt connected to something greater, something, there was something, I knew there was something. And so I took the time to basically create a new relationship with whatever this, being, energy, whatever you want to call it was. And I found myself sometimes using the word God, sometimes using the word universe, sometimes using source, sometimes spirit. And eventually I just, you know, came to the conclusion that I wanted to personalize it. And I refer to my, you know, inner spiritual being as Gus. And so that's really where that came from. And then what I noticed was that by doing that myself, it just kind of opened up the possibility of other people, around me to create their own connection with whoever that higher power is. And that's basically what Gus is: God, universe, source, spirit.
Very, very cool. How can caregivers, parents, grandparents, anyone who's got a close relationship with a child build a spiritual connection early in life, do you feel?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to have the conversations. But I think what's more important is to have the conversations from a perspective of allowing the child to think for themselves.
Mhm.
What do you think? I feel that over many generations, spirituality, religion, whatever term you want to refer to, it's been imposed, and thou shalt. But I really feel that it comes from within. And I feel that allowing kids to think for themselves will help them to make that deeper connection from within and really look for something not that's outside of them, because basically today everyone's looking for a connection outside of themselves, but really it's inside. And so, just having those open-ended conversations, just simple, simple daily messages that we can just kind of continue to help children expand and grow their thinking.
Yeah, the more conversations you have, the better dialogue you have, the more communication you have with your child. These conversations will become organic and natural when they start wondering about the stars or the planets or their dog, even like how did it come to exist? And I think you can really have a great conversation in explaining the universe and spirituality and the source and God to the best of our ability. Give the folks at home an overview of the story of Grammy, Who is Gus?
Well, Grammy, Who is Gus, is just basically a real life conversation that happened between myself and JJ, my grandson. And, we just talked about how I relate to Gus, how Gus is my transformer in the sense that, when I struggle or when I need support or I connect with Gus. And so in the story, we talk about how Gus is a creator. Well, actually, I'm going to step back a little bit. I start the story by telling JJ what I feel and believe, but I give him the permission to decide what he wants to feel and believe as well, as he grows, which I think is very important. Because I think what we need in our world today are independent thinkers, like we need children and people who can think for themselves and truly connect with what is at their core. So that was the real premise behind it. And I didn't say, I'll tell you about Gus. I said, would you like to know who Gus is to me? I offered him that opportunity. And he said yes, like he jumped right in there and wanted to know all about it. And so I basically presented, my concept of Gus being God, universe, source, spirit, the creator, and basically love, and that this energy of love is within us, and that's basically what Gus's superpower is. So it's this conversation.
Wonderful, wonderful. Have you envisioned this perhaps as a video for children, whether it's animated or live action or whatever it might be?
You know what? There's lots of possibilities and ideas, and I
Mhm.
think that that would be really, really, really great.
Mhm.
And I really do think too that the more, sometimes I kind of feel that stories of this nature, people, or not necessarily people, but institutions, schools, libraries, etc. They're not really sure how to handle books like this, because it's not really about religion, and it's not really about, well, I mean, it is spirituality, but it's kind of in its own domain. And I think that just kind of opening up the conversation, whether it be through a video, like you
Mhm.
say, or, just regular conversations, I think that that would, the more we talk about this, the more we kind of get rid of that, I hate to say, but negative, connection to religion that many people do experience today. And so
Exactly.
that's my hope.
Yeah, I don't think that it's the role of society to erase faith, erase spirituality, and erase religion. I think it should be an exploration of all religions, all spirituality, and all faiths, rather than saying it's forbidden. We can't talk about this here. It's
Exactly.
a big part of
Exactly.
most people's lives. Most people
Yes.
identify as one of three or four major religions, and almost everybody's identifies as spiritual in nature at the very least.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about your work as an awareness coach and how that might have played into your storytelling and your story writing a little bit.
Well, it definitely did, because basically my journey of becoming, developing my personal awareness is really what is at the forefront of this book, because I essentially shifted um, my view, like related to spirituality and religion based on my awareness. And so just opening helping people become aware of their thoughts and their beliefs and where they may be coming from. And, are these automatic, or are you really aligned with what you are thinking and what you are believing? Or, like, go within and ask yourself these questions. Do I really think this way? Do I really believe this? And it's okay if you don't, align with something that perhaps you used to, or maybe even, like generations before you did. It's okay to shift, and it's okay to change your perspective and your mind. And being an awareness coach, I find there's something so empowering about powering others with awareness.
Mm.
And you can shift your life just by looking at a situation, or a condition, if you will, and looking at it from a different perspective. And by doing that, you are essentially developing your awareness. And I refer to my coaching practice as triple R coaching, which the three R's are recognize, replace, and repair. So, the first step in developing your awareness is recognizing that there's something that's out of whack, out of sync. And secondly, then you take the time to replace what it is with a new thought or new behavior, new pattern. And then, thirdly, the final step in doing so is there could be some repair that needs to be done, some repair work within yourself, some repair work within a relationship that you may have with someone. There's some type of repair work, but then they lay out the foundation for moving forward and becoming a more empowered person and having, a fulfilling life. So that's basically the basis of my work as an awareness coach.
Well, that's wonderful. It sounds like wonderful work. I'm sure you help a lot of people with your work and with this book as well. Let me ask you this. Are you planning to write any more books featuring JJ or Grammy or both? And what's next for your writing career?
So yes, I do have I have another Grammy book in the works.
Mhm.
It's actually Grammy Who Is Gus for adults. So I'm
Mhm.
actually going to kind of share my new perspective for adults,
Mhm.
giving an adult version of that book. On top of that, I also have a children's book that I'm working on based on decision making and helping kids learn how to make decisions that are right for them. And I feel like that's one of the things that it's really hard to do, and it's an important skill to have in life, and we're never really taught how to do these things.
Yeah.
And so I feel like over the years, I've kind of developed a way to help myself and others to do that. And so my story is going to be based on decision making. And I'm very proud to say that I just completed a chapter for a collaborative book
Mhm.
on men's mental health. And so I just submitted the chapter in the end of June, and the book is to be published in October. So I'm very
Wonderful.
excited about that.
Well,
Yeah.
your writing career is taking off, and that's wonderful. This is a new chapter in life for you, author, and I think it suits you well because I think you've thought about these life issues and spirituality and God and the human condition quite a bit, and you're very articulate in expressing it here today and within the pages of this beautiful book. It is called Grammy Who is Gus? A heartwarming invitation to help children connect with the sacred in their own way. Thank you so much for joining me here today, Natalie.
Thank you, Logan. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate your time, your insight, and your wisdom. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on the Global Book Network.